Good evening, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode here at Wildman Lifts. I'm your host, Wildman. So on today's menu, I have the log, clean and press, and a bunch of other stuff in giant set format. So let's pop in, let's get the workout started. So on today's workout, it's going to be the log, clean and press. And I haven't decided how many reps I'm going to do or how much weight at this point. So I'm just going to keep going up in weight, and I'm hopefully just going to figure it out when I get up there. And in between my log, clean and press, I'm going to be doing some farmer walks with 2 kettlebells, each weighing 106 pounds each for 212 pounds total. And that weight will not change at all during the strength portion. So that's going to remain the same weight. And I'm going to be doing some jump ropes as well in between for conditioning and for some timing. Now, per the title of this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to breathe and brace when you're doing the log, clean and press. Now, really, the clean is not the hardest part of the log. That's actually the easiest part in my opinion, because it really just comes down to technique. If you're able to efficiently practice that, you'll be able to get into the front rack pretty easy on a clean versus a barbell. It's way harder to get into the proper clean position with a barbell than is a log, in my opinion. Again, some people do struggle with this. But once you kind of learn it, it's really easy to get it into the front rack position to press it overhead. The hardest part is getting it in the perfect place to press it overhead, because it's so cumbersome and it's out over the middle of your foot. So it's a very awkward movement to do. But once you master the clean, then the hardest part is getting that thing over your head. And it's really going to come down to how you move as a whole through the movement. And it's also going to come down to your breathing and bracing. And I'll demonstrate how I do this. So right now I'm at a crossroads in my training. I could go up in weight and put equipment on, or I can continue to go beltless and do 6 rounds for 1 rep at 220 pounds. And I'm going to choose to go that route because I've never done that before. I've never lifted the log for 6 reps total for 220 pounds. So I'm going to have to really make sure that my breathing and my bracing and my timing are all on point. Now let's jump in. Let's see if we can get this done. So essentially I'm doing kind of an Olympic weightlifting rep scheme where they do 1 single for 6 sets. And they usually use about 90 to 95%. So I'm doing 220 pounds because I've done 220 pounds before for 3 singles, but I've never done it for 6 for a full Olympic weightlifter cycle. So we're going to give that a shot today. And I'm doing it beltless, and I'm doing it without any equipment on. And this is just going to be a mental test as well, because you start second guessing yourself as you keep going along. The weight just seems to get harder and harder when you're repping out at 90 to 95%. Now here, I get my breath and my brace and I deadlift it from the log. And then I get my breath and my brace, I get into my clean position. And once I roll it up, I'm still holding my breath and maintaining my breathing and my brace as I go up and press it. And that's really the timing that I've had to work on. For some lifts, that's not a very good way to do it, but for the log, that seems to work the best. Because as you can see here, I fail this rep. And the reason why is because I failed to breathe and brace. So here, I'm at the bottom for way too long, and I lost my breath and my brace. So when I rolled it up, all the air was out of me. And when I tried to get my brace again, I just didn't have enough balance and stability to press that over my head. So here's the correct way of how I did it. So I tried this rep again, and this time I deadlifted correctly, breathe and brace, rolled it up, and look how fast I go up. Boom. I don't waste any time, because if I do and I let the air out of my lungs when it's in the front rack position, my elbows begin to drop from the log and I'm unable to get that real estate back. It's too far forward on my chest now, and then I'm unable to press it. I have to make sure that when I roll it up, I'm continuing to basically hold my breath. That's how I maintain my breathing and my bracing, and that's how I'm able to press it up overhead. And if I screw that up even once along the way, or I have to stop to get my air at the top, I've already missed the lift. So the reason why that I'm kind of training with the farmer walks and with the jump ropes is I'm trying to get my heart rate up and my conditioning up So that way, as I'm going up in the lifts, I'm able to get it. And here, for the first time ever, 6 reps total. I was very proud of that, and I was also glad to be done with it. The log tends to make me almost pass out when I'm lifting heavy like that, so congrats to me. That went very well. Now you could see, as an example, what happens if I don't get my breathing and bracing down and my timing correctly. The rep gets missed. But I'm very grateful that I hit, for the very first time in my life, 6 repetitions total for 220 pounds on the log with no equipment on. Now we're going to jump into the variation giant set. Now for the variation giant set, I was doing 3 rounds of the log strict press with 170 pounds. So I'm not using any leg drive here. This is all on my upper body and my shoulders. And I'm using slight hip anterior tilt to press through the movement and not using my legs at all. And I'm also going to up the weight of the farmer walks to 352 pounds total for 176 pounds in each hand. And that's going to be in between the strict presses. And I'm going to continue to do my jump ropes as well for conditioning and timing. Now, normally when I do the strict press with the log, my shoulders are the one that's getting blown up. But on this night, for some reason, my core was on fire. And it could be because of all those farmer walks I was doing. And it just tuckered out my stability in my core. But you can see it got really, really shaky there, and I had to really concentrate on my breathing and bracing to make sure that I press up. And when I'm doing my breathing and bracing on the log, when it's a strict press, what I'm trying to do is, I can't clean it up and then just press it right away. I have to actually bring it back down and then repress it again while it's in the front rack position, which, as I said before, is very uncomfortable when it's heavy. So what I like to do on the strict press is, from here, I'm breathing and bracing, and once I get it up and press it over my head on the first rep, I let my air out at the top. And then I re-hold my breath to get my brace back, and then I bring it down to my chest, and then I press it quickly overhead and let my air out at the top. That's what gives me my power. And if I was trying to get my air on the bottom, it wouldn't go up at all. But these are great exercises to do in totality if you're trying to be a strongman, because you're virtually hitting every part of your body, your legs, your back, your shoulders, your chest, your triceps, your biceps. Everything is getting a workout. So as you can see from the strict log press, I'm not using my legs at all. However, this is a great variation exercise to do for the log press, because sometimes it's easier just to strict press it up than it is to get your legs involved, because you'll use your real estate as you try to get your timing down with your legs. Now let's move on to the accessory giant set. Since I don't have time to do assistance tonight, I gotta get going. For the accessory giant set, I was doing 3 rounds of side delt raises with the braid band. And I was also doing tricep extensions overhead with the kettlebell single arm. And I was also doing my world famous face pulls for overall stability, shoulder health, and back stabilizers workout. So there's your workout for the evening. And I must say, I'm very pleased how everything went. Breathing and bracing is a very important thing to learn. You need to learn how to not only just pretend like you're going to get hit with a cannonball to your gut, but also if it's coming from your back as well. And it's important to get your hips involved as well, so that way you'll get your glutes involved and everything will be very stable and balanced and work together on the lift. Thanks for joining me tonight, and I'll see you next time.